What drives a lifelong, law-abiding, retired member of the public to smash a window, remove costly nameplates?
Yes, that was me smashing that window, and the important question is why? Why was a law-abiding pensioner pressed to such criminal action? Well, my trusted family solicitor, Leeds Day, stole from my money retained on trust and perverted the natural course of justice in a county court to keep it. After my previous very costly experience in a court of law, I simply chose to follow Leeds Day's criminal example, hence my smashing Leeds Day's window and my being committed to prison for 1 year and 3 months. What exactly happened? Well, I telephoned my trusted family solicitor, Mr. Brian Hall of Leeds Day, requesting details of statutes of limitations regarding another matter. Mr. Hall chose not to answer my questions. Instead, after asking me many questions, he pressed and conned me into a no-charge, no-obligation preliminary meeting with his partner, Mr. Michael Williams. This agreed no-charge preliminary meeting resulted in an unlawful demand for money, which Leeds Day eventually stole from my money they retained on trust. Senior partners, Mr. Godfrey and Mr. Sills, fail even to acknowledge receipt of my letters to see if matters could be resolved amicably. What can a layperson do when a trusted family solicitor steals from a client's trust fund and perverts the natural course of justice to keep it? As an honourable, law-abiding layperson, I submitted a small claims court summons against Leeds Day, and consequently I suffered a very costly perversion of justice in a county court. When a layperson submits a court summons against a solicitor, it's very costly matter, but for solicitors, it's profitable. Clearly, a little power tends to corrupt a little. The facts are, when smashing that window, I was doing no more than following the criminal example set by my trusted family solicitor, Leeds Day, in the hope they would prosecute me and be made to explain in a court of law why I smashed their window. I provided filmed evidence of my criminal acts to Leeds Day as evidence. Nevertheless, Leeds Day chose to suffer the full cost of repair and not press charges, thus cunningly avoiding to explain their criminal acts in a court of law. A little power plus a little knowledge tends to corrupt. Now, laypersons have a public duty to report all criminal matters perpetrated by solicitors to the official legal regulators. Equally, the Law Society, when acting as the official legal regulators and a public authority, have both a legal and a public duty to report all criminal acts perpetrated by solicitors to the police for independent investigation. The Law Society chose to criminally ignore their duty and did not report these criminal matters to the police. I submitted my complaint to the Law Society with clear, irrefutable, documented evidence of Leeds Day's fraud, theft, and perversion of justice. Instead of investigating my complaint honestly and informing the police of Leeds Day's criminal acts as law demands, the Law Society ignored my complaint completely and supported Leeds Day with their mafia-style protection. Now, what can a layperson do in such circumstances? Take our trusted guardians of justice to a court of law and risk being made bankrupt like many others? I think not. The law was to serve the people, not vice versa, and I had vowed never to let the legal industry plunder my life savings again. Instead, early one morning, I drove to London and stole the Law Society's nameplate and informed them of my actions. My intention was to induce the Law Society into pressing charges of theft against me, thus making the Law Society have to explain in a court of law why I stole their nameplates. The Law Society decided to suffer the full loss and not press charges. I still have the nameplate. Instead, the Law Society descended to the vile act of misfeasance, attempting to bully and blackmail me into dropping my serious charges against Leeds Day. That's what pressed me to follow the Law Society's criminal example and suffer imprisonment for 1 year and 3 months. Such tyranny was a criminal assault on both me and my human rights, and all accusations are irrefutably and clearly documented in over 40 Leverage files. Misfeasance is the improper performance of a lawful act. I quote Lord Denning, "The law was to serve the people and not vice versa, and no one was above it." And he was citing Thomas Fuller of some 300 years earlier, and I quote, "Be you never so high, the law is above you." I firmly believe some solicitors and the Law Society willfully mislead the public into believing the Law Society's prime function is to serve public interests honourably, whereas the fact is the Law Society considered their prime function was to provide mafia-style protection for solicitors, and for this protection solicitors paid £7,000 per partner per annum. In reality, the solicitors paid these huge fees for unlawful protection against members of the public who had legitimate complaints against solicitors. To quote Lord Acton, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." And doesn't it show? My trying to secure justice via the legal industry regarding a simple, well-documented matter of my trusted family solicitor's theft from trust resulted in my imprisonment. Now, is that justice or just us? Without doubt, it's a fine example of absolute power corrupting absolutely. I justify my beliefs by Parliament's rules of law. The Solicitors Act regarding client business agreements clearly states, "The agreement shall be in writing and signed by the person bound by it." At no time did I instruct Leeds Day to act regarding Knight Williams. 2. Fraud Act. Leeds Day submitted a fraudulent invoice, and the Law Society chose not to accept this invoice as fraudulent. 3. Forgery and Counterfeiting Act. Mr. Roberts, solicitor and partner of Leeds Day, told me lies regarding Leon, clearly documented. I made the Law Society fully aware of all the facts. Nevertheless, the Law Society also made fraudulent statements supporting Mr. Roberts' claims regarding Leon. 4. The Theft Act. Leeds Day stole from my money retained on trust, and I made the Law Society fully aware of all the facts. Nevertheless, the Law Society and many directors knowingly and for the benefit of Leeds Day assisted Leeds Day retain my money stolen from trust. The Criminal Justice Act. The Law Society, some directors and staff, assisted Leeds Day conceal stolen property to assist Leeds Day avoid prosecution. The Criminal Law Act. The Law Society and some senior solicitors, staff and directors, knowing of Leeds Day's arrestable offences, did, without lawful authority or reasonable excuse, impede Leeds Day's apprehension and prosecution. 7. Proceeds of crime and solicitors' fees. The Law Society obtained proceeds of crime via mafia-type protection fees. The average compulsory protection fee paid to the Law Society by solicitors £7,000 per year per partner. In 1998, the November Group claimed they could arrange professional negligent cover at 60% less than the Law Society. That's a lot of money left to protect dishonest members. Number 8. Protection from Harassment Act. The Law Society and Leeds Day harassed me via persistent dishonesty and unlawful regulation. A direct result of the Law Society's persistent harassment resulted in my imprisonment for 1 year and 3 months. Now, all the above offences are very clearly documented. During my demonstration in Chancery Lane on the 12th of January 2002, I received a letter on behalf of the Law Society from Mr. Fraser Whitehead, the Law Society Council member and Chair of Civil Litigation, with the blessing of Mr. Peter Williamson, Law Society Deputy Vice President, confessing Leeds Day's acts were unlawful. This letter of confession and my recent research confirms many years of suspicions regarding the Law Society assisting Leeds Day in a mafia-style protection racket. It also confirms my committal to prison for 1 year and 3 months was unfair and unjust. Thank you. For further information, go to lawsocietydirtytricks.com.